Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our our March 12th, 2024 council meeting. We start this meeting by having a public hearing. We had, it's for zoning of, or no, we'll deal with that one in a second. The public hearing for tonight is on proposed local law 24, number to be determined, to discuss proposed amendments to Chapter 189, Streets and Sidewalks, Part 3, Snow and Ice, Article, 14, removal, as attached. If anyone has...
Your first public hearing, though, was a continuation of the rezoning that was scheduled for December 12th.
Oh, was it? Okay. I'm sorry. All right, well, we'll go to that one first. Please apologize. I'm a lot of sorts this evening. But I wasn't before, so. We have a public hearing that was started at our last council meeting regarding the rezoning of parcel on Broad Street from GC1 to GC2. Has any communication come regarding that to the clerk's office during that time? I don't think anything's come from to the mayor's office. Has anybody heard anything from any constituents or anything like that?
I still am of the opinion that this is in the BOA for Broad Street, and that we are also in the process of putting together a comprehensive plan. Both those things require planning, and I don't think it's an opportune time to be changing zoning when we're planning on doing our zoning as part of, or reviewing our zoning as part of our comprehensive plan and BOA work.
Thank you, Councilman, duly noted. Is there any member from the public that would like to speak on this issue? All right, Peter, anybody? All right, hearing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and then have a discussion under old business about this. The second, now we'll get to the second one regarding our proposed snow and ice removal local law. I want to say that the council's Building and Codes Committee, along with its department heads from Building and Codes and our fire department, worked really hard on this, including our city attorney. And I want to thank Councilwoman Palmer and the rest of the members of the committee for that. And I'm not sure, Councilwoman, if you want to have anything to say about it, or
I think I kind of
put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I kind of explained it at the last meeting, but just in case anyone's wondering, what we're trying to address is people who repeatedly don't shovel their sidewalks. So this law will allow us to give them notice, and if they don't clean it up, we can pay a contractor to clean it up, give them the bill. If they don't pay the bill, it gets added to their tax bill. This is not for people who maybe are a little late coming home from work. This is for like chronic, people who just repeatedly don't take care of their sidewalks. And we're a walking school district. It's been a problem. We've had a pretty mild winter this year, but we're happy to have gotten this prepared so that we'll be ready to go next year. So that's what this is about.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this proposed local law?
I just think it's a good idea.
You can come up to the... Well, thank you. Peter, is there anybody with that? We'll close the public hearing on that. Or we won't close it. We're going to keep that open and then close it at the next meeting and then put it on the agenda for a vote. All right, so we'll keep that open until the next meeting and then we'll vote on it. So if somebody has something to say in the meantime, we would be more than happy to entertain that. So, via email or letter or phone call. So with that being said, I'd like to open up our Common Council meeting for March 12th, 2024, and start our regular session with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Dodd.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're at a point in the meeting where we have public comment, so if anyone would like to come up to the microphone, please come up, state your name, where you're from, your residency, and state your business. Thank you.
I don't know how to do this. Should I hold it?
Oh, you didn't?
I'm sorry.
I'm IT. I should figure this out.
There should be a button here.
Yep, just hold it here.
Hold the select
Hold
or
it,
oh,
hold
the
the
power.
power. There we go.
We got it.
You gotta hold it down until it's turned on.
Yeah, I think it's on.
Okay, there you go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Adam Baynard. I've been a resident
I'm
of
sorry. What is your name?
Adam Baynard,
Adam. Okay.
Baynard. I've been a resident of Glens Falls since January 2021.
What's your address?
That's where I'm getting to. So this is what I want to talk to you guys about. I live on 58 Walnut Street in Glens Falls. Many of you may or may not know of 56 Walnut. It is the eyesore and almost the plague of Glens Falls. My goal here is not to attack the status of a person, but to protect the ideal and I don't know if sanctity is the right word, but protect the people that live in this neighborhood who want to see this neighborhood thrive. This neighbor that we have, sorry, I'm nervous, has almost destroyed the entire neighborhood. I have pictures, if you guys would like to see, I can pass them around.
Please.
So, and I want to emphasize that this is not me attacking somebody that is in a different financial status than what we are. This is about protecting the value of our properties, the integrity of our homes. So in the last 4 years, I have witnessed child abuse, child negligence, animal abuse, animal negligence. I've called the police multiple times and have had no response. For the last example, in January 13th, the zoning board or zoning building put a notice on the house that nobody could live there because it was unsafe. They continued to live there for over a week. The following week, they went on a trip and left their dogs for 3 days inside of a house. I called the police multiple times. I saw somebody come into the house that was supposed to be taking care of the house and physically abuse a dog, and the police came and did nothing. These children run through the neighborhood unsupervised, abuse the Millers, which everybody knows, the business. They abuse their property, treat it like their own backyard because there is, and you can see in the pictures, there is no yard left in this property. It's gotten to the point where their backyard is so devastated by filth, trash, that their 4 dogs have to be walked every single day. So if you walk from my house to Cooper's Cave and maybe to Poopy's, you will see nothing but poopy. It's everywhere. There is no safe place for us to enjoy our neighborhood, which is thriving because of people like Dan and Jack. We love our small neighborhood. It's quiet, it's peaceful, but there is one house that just will not let us thrive. There's nothing we can do. We've tried to talk to them, we've tried to live by example, and yet they do not care. They destroy my yard every single day. I wish I could show you pictures of my yard. The fact that I have to go out there every single day, pick up trash, pick up dog poop, pick up cat poop. They have about 18 cats that are feral. They destroy our yards. They destroy everything about our properties. There are people that have just moved and given up. We have some people that are trying to move and they have had estimate value of negative $50,000 on their house because of the people next door to them. Our only solution right now is to move, which isn't a solution at all. We should be allowed to stay and protect our neighborhood. And yet, we're powerless. When we try to do something, we are looked at as bad guys. And the current climate that we live in, you can't talk to somebody like this. There's no solution. My wife is 9 months pregnant. And the fact that I have to bring a child into this is unbelievable. And like I said, it's not about social class or the situation they're in. I believe that the situation you're in does not define you. The way you handle the situation defines you, and they do not care. We could put them anywhere, and they're going to destroy any place they've been in. So I understand it's a delicate situation, but I ask you to think of the children, think of the animals. I guess that's what I have to say. I hope I did not offend any of you. I don't mean to criticize any of you. A lot of you probably don't know the situation. But it's unbearable, and the fact that our neighborhood has to pay the price because of one house, especially when we've tried to protect what means most to us, and there's nobody that seems to look out for us. The fact that we have to come here, I never thought, like, I think I'm like 39. I've never been to something like this. It's not for me. I just want you guys to know that there are people out there that love Glens Falls, that take on these small neighborhoods to help rebuild them. And our only solution right now is to leave Glens Falls, take a hit, and just abandon you guys. And what you'll have left is just a vicious cycle of something that's not going to be rewarding. We're the rewarding ones. We're the ones that are going to take care of the city and help it thrive. But right now, our only option is to leave. I think that's all.
Adam, I thank you for taking the time, and if there are other neighbors, I thank you for being here. I will talk to the mayor when he gets back into town. We'll take a look at the situations, pull the records and stuff. I'm sorry that you felt like this was the last option you had to come here, and but we appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is we've done like our internet sleuth stuff, and we know the house is under foreclosure, but we also know that that could be nothing. So we do not want to rely on the bank or somebody that's looking to make money on this. We want us to be protected.
Sure. Well, let's look at the situation. Let's compile all the information,
Okay.
take inventory of it, and then try to come up with a feasible plan that addresses the situation so the neighbors don't feel like they have to move. We don't want that. We want vibrant neighborhoods.
And my door is always open if you guys want to come by.
And so I know the mayor's door is always open. So
The funny thing is, I saw the mayor like a year ago walking with his wife.
Okay.
And I almost stopped my car. I was like, let's take a little tour.
He would not.
I was trying not to be rude.
I know you've been in contact with Building and Codes Department.
Yeah, Patrick, I think it was his name. His
Okay,
name was.
well.
And I've also had the police inside my house, and they've told me multiple times that no children live in the house. And I've lived there 4 years, and there are definitely children
Well,
that
with
live in the house.
respect to the code violations that are evident on the photographs, I know that that house has been brought to city
Right.
court for code violations. With respect to animal abuse, that's the SPCA, we're have a contract with them. And with respect to children, if you believe children are in danger, you need to make a call to the
And
state central.
I've done all that, and I've seen CPS come and go. And what I get, and I've gotten this from the police department, and as a father to be, they tell me they meet the bare minimum. A bare minimum is unacceptable as any parent. Like, the fact that we can just be like, okay, they barely pass by, that's fine. Let's just move on to the next house is unacceptable to
Well, I can
me.
tell you what the city can do is deal with the code violations. We don't
Right.
have jurisdiction.
But I also, not to interrupt you, but I saw you guys put a sign on the house that said, this house is unlivable. They lived in there for a week. I called multiple times and nobody did anything. They left the people and small children in that house that said, this house is unacceptable to live in. And you guys did nothing about it. Nothing.
Well, I don't know that to be true.
It's 100% true. I'm sure there's a 911 call from
Violations
you.
are being addressed in city court. We have to go by the
But-
law. CPS has jurisdiction over the children's issues.
Right,
And if
but
there are
like the
dogs-
bare minimum is just nothing.
I know
It's
what
nothing.
what your definition of bare minimum.
It's not my definition of bare
And
minimum.
what I'm saying.
My definition of bare minimum is much different than CPS's.
It is.
Yes,
And so they're bound by the law too, unfortunately.
right. But who is bound when there's a sign that says nobody can live in a house and there's clearly 6 people living in a house and police show up and just leave? Who's bound by that law?
Well, we'll look into this and find out what's going on based on what you've described here tonight. We will need to have a discussion with our chief of police.
Also, Karen, I appreciate our little rapport, but I guarantee if that house lived next to you, this would not be an issue.
Oh, I'm not saying it's acceptable at all. I'm agreeing with you.
No, I don't
You
think
saw
you
the
are. Good night.
photographs and they're shocked.
Thank you, Adam. Anybody else? Is there any other public comment? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to committee reports. Councilman Dunn. You have any?
No happening, we're next is the third Tuesday
Okay,
in March, so, you know,
all right.
it's
To be
sustainability.
continued.
Huh?
To be continued.
Right.
Councilman Lander.
Yes, the Labor Personnel Committee will meet on Tuesday, March 19th at 11:30 a.m. in the Mayor's Conference.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hunter.
The Recreation Committee met yesterday. We had a kind of a fully packed agenda. So we first met with a gentleman from the Crandall Park Beautification Committee who is talking to the city about getting wind screens up around the pickleball courts. So we looked at seeing pricing and options. We talked about that for a little bit. We met with some Rotary members who are interested in finding a way to contribute to city parks. So we had a good discussion. We got an update from our city engineer and our Department of Public Works superintendent about the current work that we are starting, kind of round 2 of our recreation rehabilitation. We started with all the courts. That work is done. Now we're doing the field houses and the bathrooms. We're looking into the dog park and some other improvements. And we're also planning a community day event. It's in initial planning stages and we'll be releasing information to the community soon, but we're thinking it will be on Memorial Day after the event. And the idea is to have activities going on at every single park to kind of highlight the work we've done at the park. So we're gonna have a basketball tournament, a youth basketball tournament, a pickleball tournament, activities for kids, and then we will all potentially gather at the end at Murray Street to show off we've done work on the fields and the courts there and do kind of an award ceremony and a little bit of a ribbon cutting for the parks. So that's in the works and we'll put more information out about that as we continue the planning. Oh, we're also meeting again on March 26th at 1 p.m.
Thank you. Councilman Lamb.
The tech committee met on March 6th on a Teams meeting, and we went over our information and security contractor, presented their findings. We had pretty good compliance for a municipality our size. We got some recommendations for the upcoming year and a roadmap that we thought was pretty reasonable, and we sent along to the mayor's office. It's in priority order, so if there's some things that are more pricey than we can do at the moment, we have a ranking of the things that the vendor recommended. We talked a little bit about records management software. We had a big bill for trying to upgrade what we currently use. So we're talking with Queensberry to see what they're doing with their needs for the same sort of thing. They went from the similar software that we were using to a different set of software, so it's interesting for us to get their feedback. We had an update on C-Click Fix. There are a couple of things that need to kind of happen in terms of with the web developer, and just making sure that we have processes fully established and tablets out for the trucks. One of the things too is Civic Plus is going to help us with marketing. We discussed briefly Civics Plus for buildings and codes, but Philip wasn't at the meeting, so we kind of pushed that off for the next meeting. And also that it seemed like something the Building and Codes Committee could weigh in on as well. And in addition to that, we talked about website accessibility in Section 508, which is a federal requirement for governments, bodies and such. I had some free sort of things we could look at as a committee the next time we get together. StarTech shared a roadmap for IT services for the upcoming year. Some of the things we wanted to do was make sure we get some training in SharePoint, Word, Excel, Teams, and OneDrive. And one of the things that they were stressing was getting backup for Microsoft 365, so that if we have like emails that get deleted, that we have a backup. And Chip had an update for some cameras that the police requested, and we talked about transitioning our emails to the .gov domain from .com, and that was the meeting.
Anything on the franchise agreement?
That is no update.
Okay, all right, thanks.
That's like dawdling with me.
Councilwoman Good.
No report, but we will be going to be rescheduling our meetings to make it more accountable for our meetings.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, we'll go to voice vote now. Is there any of the three resolutions, is there anyone who would like to pull for discussion? All right, resolution number 1, to approve the minutes of the February 27th, 2024 meeting of the Glens Falls County Council. Resolution number 2, to approve the clerk's February monthly and PPE report. Resolution number 3, to accept the building and codes monthly report. I have a motion, please. Motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? Any abstaining? All right. Hearing none, so moved. Everything passed. Very good. All right. Now on to our roll call vote. And is there any items on the agenda that anyone would like to pull? All right. Hearing none, let's start with resolutions. Resolution number 4. Resolution that the City of Glens Falls supports the passage of the proposed New York State Equal Rights Amendment legislation. Resolution number 5, to approve the City of Glens Falls Community Development annual payments in the amount of $4,790 to pay expenses related to lead paint testing, expenses related to legal document creation for the CDBG rehabilitation program, and expenses related to administrative support for the city's home ownership program. Resolution number 6 is a resolution to approve the adoption of budget amendment to the City of Glens Falls Entitlement Community Development Block Grant Program. that would transfer $3,972.11 in unobligated homeownership assistance funding, which in and of itself isn't enough to support a future home purchase project. So to be eligible for program delivery activities that would more efficiently use the funding to support needed services, including housing inspections, lead-based paint, asbestos testing, and other activities to work with eligible home buyers and owners to deliver successful projects, as well as close out fiscal year 2021 CDBG funding in a timely manner. Resolution number 7 is to approve the Community Development Rehabilitation Application number 2023 MU-001 in the amount not to exceed $35,000 using Community Development Block Grant funding to repair framing, add insulation, and sheetrock for a vacant and gutted apartment until attached apartment unit attached to a qualifying home. Project also includes wiring, electrical upgrades, new smoke and carbon monoxide alarms, lead-based paint mitigation to allow the apartment to be occupied by a lower income tenant upon completion of the work. Resolution number 8 is a resolution to award bid number CGF 2403-2024 Eastfield Sports Complex new bleacher pad to the lowest qualified bidder, Trinity Construction Inc., in the amount of $287,723, with a contingency of $12,272 for a total approved amount of $300,000 to be paid by an Eastfield DASNY grant as in an amount of $83,000 and the balance of $217,000 to be paid by ARPA funds, and to authorize the mayor to enter into a contract approved by the city attorney. Resolution to award bid number CGF 2401-2024 for intermittent curb and sidewalk replacement to AJ Catalfamo Construction in the amount of $376,392.50 plus 6% contingency for a total amount of $400,000 to be approved and authorized, and to approve and authorize the mayor to enter into a contract in the form approved by the city attorney. Resolution number 10, to decrease ambulance cash account A027 in the amount of $6,459 and increase general fund line A23410-1000 fire department personal services by $6,459 to pay health care bonuses to eligible firefighters under Governor Hochul's and the New York State Legislature's Part ZZ of Chapter 56 of the laws of 2022. Resolution 11 to increase revenue line A0099992262 fire protection services by $1,850 and increase expense line A23410-2050 fire protection equipment by $1,850 for reimbursement of emergency plugs paid by a city vendor. Resolution number 12, resolution to approve a mobile food unit license application 4-2024 for John and Deborah Sear doing business as 3 Foodies and Deb LLC, 350 Council Road, Schenectady, New York, to operate a weekly mobile food unit from June 8th through the 9th, 2024 for the Larak Festival in City Park. Resolution number 13 to approve the outside dining permit renewal number 12024 for Pharmacy Roaster Bar, 18-22 Bridge Street, Glens Falls, for placement of chairs and tables in front of the business for a period from June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2025, in compliance with PROAG regulations for public access on sidewalks as shown in the layout. Per mayor's permission of Pharmacy's Restaurant Bar to place tables in the alleyway, with the understanding that all tables and chairs must be removed before a restaurant closes, and that any vehicular parking in that alleyway does not exceed 10 minutes for only loading and unloading. Resolution number 14, to approve the encroachment permit renewal number 5-2024 for First Baptist Church, 100 Maple Street, Glens Falls, for placement of sandwich board on the grass between the sidewalk and the road on the corner of Maple Street and Ridge Street to indicate days and hours of operations from June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2025. Resolution number 15, to approve the encroachment permit of number 6/2024 for Bonaccio Development, 18 Division Street, Suite 401, Saratoga Springs, New York, to temporarily block off portions of the sidewalk on 141 South Street for soil boring and installation of groundwater monitoring wells and subsequent groundwater sampling from March 13, 2024 through March 31st, 2024, following the city's standard requirements, with the understanding that a competent person will be directing pedestrians to cross the street safely, and flagmen will be directing vehicular traffic. And finally, resolution number 16, to approve the warrant. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
Councilman Landry?
Yes.
Councilman Palmer?
Yes.
Councilman Lapple?
Yes.
And Councilman Gooden?
Yes.
What about me? Yes, I get your vote.
Okay, Councilman Lapple.
Yes.
Sorry, I wasn't there.
Thank you, everyone, I appreciate that. On to old business.
What'd you say?
Old business.
Old business.
Do you have it?
No, I don't.
No old business? Councilman Landry.
No business.
Old business. Councilwoman Palmer.
I wanted to just circle back to our conversation last week about flags
Mhm.
and hanging them at City Hall. So I sent an email, I think I got a response to today, right, from you, Councilman at Large Clark.
Yeah.
But I had done some research on this myself, trying to understand what the rules were, and it appears to me that there's a difference between regulating public speech and engaging in government speech. So we cannot create a public forum where people are allowed to come in and request to hang flags and then pick and choose which flags are hung. But if we as a government create a policy that explains that we as government speech can choose to hang a flag, we can do that. If a member of the council or the mayor wanted to bring that forward. And I wanted to double check that I was interpreting everything correctly, so I did reach out to legal counsel at NICOM, the New York Conference of Mayors. The council there sent me an article that he had actually written, so we were lucky there, and it reaffirmed what I've just said, so we can do that. It was a little bit confusing because there was a court case that the mayor had cited in Boston that could have made it seem that we couldn't do that, but we can as long as we have a clear policy. And so I wanted to pass out just for everyone to see. This is a policy from San Jose, California, and this is the policy that when this was before the Supreme Court, Justice Breyer said this was an example of a constitutional policy. So the person from NICOM recommended that we take a look at this, and I just wanted to give this to everybody. So I believe that we need to create a policy regarding this, and then at that point, do you need another one? At that point, anybody from the council or the mayor's office could bring forth a motion to hang a flag outside of City Hall.
Would-
So,
Would you have a motion for a policy, to write a policy?
well, first we need to create a policy, and I think in that policy it would say, like this policy does, that the motion would have to come from someone here as opposed to coming from the public. So that's,
Create the policy.
first we create the policy, and that template policy that I gave you explains that in order to hang a flag, it has to be, I think for them, they said the mayor, the city manager, or a member of the council who requests it. So our policy would have to state something like that. So that's how we make it clear that the flag is not intended to be a public square, it's intended to be a place for government actions, government speech, and then we would have to bring forward that motion. But if we do it that way and we have a clear policy, we can legally pick and choose which flags we want it to hang.
So thank you, and I appreciate you sharing the article with us. I did have a chance to look at it briefly, so I would love to sit down with Karen and the mayor, and at least go over this, discuss that, and then we can come up with some sort of game plan. I think there are other things that are going on too. I mean, we do have other places where things are being hung up that might, I think we need to look at this in a more holistic, other than just flags. Because we do have banners that get hung up in public and stuff like that. So I want to make sure that we're addressing all these avenues that express either flags or banners or anything like that. So I think that is important that we look at this in a holistic standpoint. And again, I thank you for bringing this up. So thank you.
Sure.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Councilman Lappin?
I was, just from what Diana had sent around, I thought that was a really good thing. And I think that having it focused on the flag makes it easier to put together a policy that addresses just the question of flags. There are other sorts of things that we might want to have included in, much like the handout that Diana just sent around. And I'd like to see us move forward with that.
Thank you. Councilwoman Good, do you have any old business?
I just wanted to comment on that also. I also went over what Councilwoman Palmer had sent around, and it was really, I think it would be really helpful for us. And it's something that I think that we could go forward with the proper, what we're supposed to do. And I think it's good. I had a chance to look at it. So thank you.
I do have some old business. I just want to circle back to the rezoning. Can we table that? Is there? I think there wasn't anything on the agenda seeking action. So do we have to table that, the rezoning of the GC1?
You close the public hearing, so at some point, there needs to be some type of motion to either table it or bring the motion forward.
Okay. I would.
You have an application
Right.
from a constituent seeking the change in zoning.
Right. So in order to give our economic development director an opportunity, who has been in conversation with the property owner, to work on a potential solution to this, I would like to make a motion to table this until a future date. Is there a second? We need a roll call.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Roll call, please.
Councilman Lemon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Today's
Not my
Councilman
day.
Landry?
It's not my day.
Yes.
Councilman Lawrence?
Yes.
Councilman Palmer?
Yes.
Councilman Ethel?
Yes.
And Councilman Goodman?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. This will give Jeff an opportunity to work with him and see if we can come up with something that is mutually beneficial. New business. Councilman Dunn.
Nothing else.
Councilman Land.
New business?
Yes.
Again, just acknowledging the Glens Falls Black Bears boys high school basketball team that sewed up their position and an invitation to the big dance here in Glens Falls this weekend with the basketball tournament coming to town here at the Cool Arena. It's a good chance for us to bring home a state title, and we would. I'd like to congratulate all of the coaches, my friend Sonny Gooden being one of them, Steve Zerlo, and of course, city employee coach Rob Gerard for making us all very proud. With that being said, I invite everybody downtown to Glens Falls and the Cool Arena beginning Thursday and enjoy the games and all the city has to offer. Downtown should be alive with activity. And lastly, I'd like to
At
wish...
9 a.m.
And lastly, I'd like to wish our esteemed colleague Ed Donahue, who celebrated again his 39th birthday today.
All right.
Happy birthday.
I know, 39, okay.
Councilwoman Palmer.
I have no new business.
Councilman Lapham.
I don't want to put Bob in charge of any numbers.
Councilwoman Good. I probably should have brought this up under old business, but I wanted to thank everyone for their support in resolution number 4, supporting the Equal Rights Amendment legislation. I think that's something that's important, and it allows the voters one way, whatever they feel, one way or the other, to vote for it. So I thank you all for that. So thank you, and I have no other business, so open up to public comment.
My name is Kate Roos, and I live in Glens Falls. Sure. Whoops. Well, I just pulled it out. My name is Kate Roos, and I live in Glens Falls. I want to thank you for your long thinking about the Equal Rights Amendment. This is the third time I've been here talking about it, and the public will not vote on it until November. But this council, you're different. You have different views on lots of things. This is such a significant and important resolution for the strength of democracy, not only in Glens Falls, but in New York State. You are setting a tremendously important example. I'm an old lady, I'm not going to be around that long, but some of you up there are quite young, and you have children and grandchildren, and you think about a wider and deeper and longer future than some of us old folks do. But you've made, with your vote and your consideration of this, you've made that future a better one for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your perseverance. Any other public comment? Peter, anything? No? Hearing nothing else, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh,
Oh.
please come on up.
Yes, well,
You need to come up to the podium
right. Sorry.
so we can hear you, and so they can hear you too. So thank you for coming.
I thought I had a big enough mouth, sorry. Well, my question is, I live in Queensbury, am I allowed to speak here?
You sure are.
I have questions about the flag policy.
Can you state your name?
I'm Sally Finch, and I live in Queensbury. First of all, would the council here have to decide on which flags to post, or that would be allowed to post, or would you accept at each request? Would you decide at each request? I didn't understand.
We haven't written the policy yet, but the guidance that I got was that we actually can't do it the second way that you described, where we open it up to requests, because if we did that, we would have to accept every request. And
Okay.
there are flags we would not want to hang.
Okay.
But if we choose to hang a flag, it's government speech, and we do have a right to pick and choose what we say. And
Okay.
that's the distinction I was
Okay,
making. Yeah.
that's my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you for coming up. You can just put it right on the table.
Okay.
There you go. That'll be fine. Very nice. Beautiful. Anything else? Anybody else? Cam?
Hi everybody, Ken Hardelli, Lower Avenue Pride. I just want to thank you for your vote in the courts.
other comments? All right, hearing none, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.